Okay, let's get started. Welcome everyone to Take Recycling to the Next Level. This event's part of Bellevue College's Earth Week, where we are exploring topics around the theme, The Future is Now, which strives for a just and sustainable future for all. You can see our full schedule of events by visiting the link that I will post in the chat box shortly. My name is Amber Nicholson, and I am from the Bellevue College Office of Sustainability, and I will be moderating this event. Before we get started, we have a couple things to go over. You are muted on joining, and we would like for you to stay on mute unless you are actively asking a question or responding to a prompt from the speaker. If you would like to keep your camera on, it does make for a more engaging session for everyone. And we'd like you to know that this event is being recorded to post to our sustainability website. Throughout the session, please treat everyone with respect and share your comments and questions in the chat box. We will open up for Q&A at the end, where you can either unmute yourself and ask your question or have us read out your question. For the best Zoom experience, I recommend that you click the speaker button in the top right corner of your screen. Lastly, we pause to acknowledge that Bellevue College resides on the traditional and occupied land of the Coast Salish peoples, past, present, and future, that includes but is not limited to Snoqualmie, Suquamish, Duwamish, Nisqually, Tulalip, and Muckleshoot. We honor their connection to the region, pay respect to Coast Salish elders past and present, and stand in solidarity through their struggles with continued systemic oppression. We commit to care for the land and water and center equity at the core of our unlearning. Now, let me take a moment to introduce our speaker, Caroline. Just pulling up the bio. Caroline Coffey graduated from Penn State University with a degree in veterinary and biomedical sciences. After working in compliance and business analytics in the financial sector, Caroline made her passion to work for a purpose-driven company a reality, starting at a career in sustainability at Terracycle. Caroline specializes in building community infrastructure for national recycling programs across the US and Canada. Focused on unique categories of waste like cigarette butts and disposable razors, Caroline helps businesses, cities, and nonprofits engage in sustainable initiatives while educating communities on the importance of waste elimination and recycling. Welcome, Caroline. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. I am pumped to be here and to share with y'all a little bit more about what I do, what Terracycle does, and some awesome ways that you can get involved. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and kick things off. So for anyone on the call today who is not familiar, Terracycle is a mission-driven company that's based out of Trenton, New Jersey. So that's where I am located. I'm working from home, obviously, right now, but historically, I would be up in our headquarters in Trenton, New Jersey. And our mission is eliminating the idea of waste. So we do that through a variety of different mechanisms, but essentially all of those can be captured on this slide. So we start with making things recyclable. We then make things from recycled materials. We make things reusable through our reuse platform Loop. We clean up waste and we innovate with waste. So again, we are meeting our mission from a variety of different angles and a variety of different ways. And it's really unique and exciting. And so I'm really, again, excited to share with you how you can get involved. So Terracycle is also a global leader. We're currently the only company I know of in this space that has a global impact in dealing with hard to recycle materials. We're currently based in 21 countries, and you can see that captured on this map here. So in dark blue, you can see where our Loop and Terracycle markets are. So again, our reuse platform, which some of you might be familiar with, is Loop. And then Terracycle, which is our national recycling programs, and our zero waste boxes are also part of that system. We also have Terracycle markets in other places where Loop does not live, so you can see that in the light green. And then our global foundation, which is tackling waste through river traps in Thailand and through a variety of ways abroad. And you can see that in the dark green on this map as well. So Terracycle, again, we're eliminating the idea of waste, and we're doing that in a variety of different ways. You can see lots of different neat stats captured on this slide. I'm going to focus your attention to the bottom left, because we have over 202 million people recycling with us across the globe, which is amazing. And through our national recycling programs, which also allow you to raise funds for charities and schools, through those programs, we've donated over $44 million. And every month we recycle about 1 million pounds of non-recyclable waste globally. So our impact is huge. We're only continuing to bring on more partners and more locations to create, accessible solutions for waste elimination. So it's really awesome to see us continuously grow. So an important question to ask yourself when you think about recycling is what determines recyclability? And really what it comes down to is economics. So you can look at the left-hand side of this Venn diagram and you can see things that you're probably familiar with as being locally recyclable. So you can think of aluminum cans, clear PET water bottles, glass, your HDPE like laundry containers, uncoated paper. All of those things are generally accepted through your curbside municipal program. And that's because the cost of logistics and processing is less than the end value of that material once it's processed. So essentially those materials can be sold back into the supply chain for a profit. So where we specialize is in this space of non-locally recyclable. So essentially the logistics and processing is more costly than the actual end value of material. So anything multi-laminate like a disposable razor, which is made of plastic, metal, and rubber polymers, cigarette butts, which are made of organic materials and plastic materials, all those things have complexity to them and how they're processed. So they end up costing more than, like I said, their end value. So that's where we work with lots of different partners to, again, drive solutions to these materials and create accessibility for them across the globe. So the global issue of waste is huge. I'm sure many of you are familiar with lots of issues that face our nation, face the global landscape when it comes to waste and garbage. But zooming in on cigarette litter specifically, as Bellevue College has been recycling cigarettes since 2015, which is an awesome litter prevention and pollution reduction program, and it actually benefits Keep America Beautiful. So for every pound of cigarette waste the university is sending, $1 is donated to help further cigarette litter prevention programming across the country through Keep America Beautiful. But cigarette butts are the most littered item on the planet. Over 4.5 trillion cigarette butts are littered every year, and they end up in all sorts of crazy places. They really have a huge impact on communities, neighborhoods, cities. It's costly to clean up litter. It affects traffic and tourism. It affects public health. So meeting this through a unique recycling solution is a really awesome way to tackle this problem, like I said, both locally, nationally, and globally. So Terracycle specializes in a lot of different we provide value to the programs ultimately, and we want to make sure we can communicate around these recycling solutions and educate folks on proper waste disposal and make it as fun as possible. So we help you engage and implement with authentic sustainability and responsibility platforms. We help support our collectors through marketing and PR because we want to share the good news and good stories that are happening and really highlight those special partnerships and the awesome work that folks are doing across the country. And also driving awareness and engagement through events like this, like talking to people. It's a big part of my job. It's really, again, promote these programs, educate folks, and make them as easy to participate in as possible.
There's a quick request from the chat that you slow down a little bit, I think. Yeah.
No problem. Thank you so much for flagging that for me. I am born and raised in New Jersey. I am from the Northeast. I get very energized and passionate about the work that I do and have a tendency to zoom through the content. So happy to slow down a bit. And if I'm still going too fast, please let me know. So the Terracycle solution is really awesome and can be broken down into these 3 pillars, essentially. The first of which is collection. So that starts with you, our collectors, community leaders, folks who set up these programs. And then we solve for the waste. So once we receive it from you, we're able to process it and convert them into lots of different types of materials. And then again, we strive to add value as much as possible, through educational materials and resources, by providing support uniquely, to really spotlight, showcase, and share the great work our collectors are doing across the globe. So jumping into, again, this first pillar of collection, I'm going to share with you just how easy it is to get involved with the Terracycle program, whether you're on campus or whether you're at home. And so signing up for a Terracycle account, all that's required is for you to put your contact information onto our website. It's totally free, and that enables you access to the large suite of recycling programs we offer, many of which are national recycling programs that are completely free to sign up for and participate in. So once you've created that Terracycle account, you can peruse our website, sign up for the cigarette recycling program or any other program that might interest you. We offer a litany of solutions for, hundreds of different waste streams, from some of your favorite brands to some smaller brands. So we really have solutions for everything. You sign up for that. Once you join the program, you get access to an unlimited number of UPS shipping labels that are all prepaid. So essentially you just use your own bags and boxes to pack up the materials you collect. You print off a shipping label from your Terracycle account, and then either through scheduling a pickup, or you can drop it off directly at a UPS retailer. Those materials are then sent back to us and we process them for recycling. And something I mentioned earlier is that there is oftentimes a nice incentive with these programs, which allow you to fundraise for the charity or school of your choice. So the cigarette recycling program in particular is unique in that for every pound of cigarette waste we collect, $1 is donated to Keep America Beautiful. But for many of our other national recycling programs, you earn Terracycle points the more you collect with us, and then those points can be redeemed for charitable donations twice a year to any 501c3 organization of your choice. So it's really awesome. You know, it gives you an opportunity to participate in an authentic sustainability platform and also give back to your community. And even better, ensuring that the waste you are sending is not ending up in the environment or in a landfill. So these are some examples of what infrastructure looks like, specifically when it comes to cigarette recycling, because when we talk about recycling and we talk about developing recycling solutions within a community, infrastructure is really important. Where is collection taking place, who is collecting, and who's managing a program. So I know uniquely at Bellevue, I believe, as far as I know, there's 8, there might be more now, but like cigarette butt huts that live on campus. So essentially these cigarette receptacles that allow you to recycle your spent cigarette butt, and then those butts are collected from the receptacle and then shipped off to Terracycle for recycling. So this is, again, a unique way we partner with different cities, community groups, businesses, university and college campuses to provide infrastructure, visibility, awareness, again, to drive engagement to the recycling program and to ensure these materials are disposed of properly. So I've mentioned this too, but really, these recycling programs lean on community leaders. So students, staff, faculty, anybody who wants to step up to take ownership of a program like this is welcome to do so. But those leaders then can develop locations where it makes the most sense to recycle. Big part of my job as well is to support locations in the development of this infrastructure and really fine tune what makes the most sense for the collection side of things. And again, what's going to make this program as easy as possible for the location to participate in. But then once those locations are established for these recycling programs, the community can engage with them. So you can do fun events, fun marketing campaigns. We do lots of PR, social, again, like speaking engagements to create awareness. Again, to make it as fun as possible to participate in and to bring joy through recycling as much as possible. So there's a few other ways you can inspire your community to recycle, and it's super cool because I know Bellevue has undertaken a couple additional Terracycle national recycling programs in the last 6 months or so. But essentially, we are creating this network of public drop-off locations across the US, across North America, across the globe to, again, create as much accessibility around our recycling programs as possible, to allow folks to send in larger shipments to raise more funds for their charities. And again, developing this network to make community recycling a norm. So we have a couple different programs I wanted to highlight for you that are super cool to get involved with, super easy to set up, and would be a great addition to the campus, one of which actually already exists at Bellevue. So our Gillette Razor Local Recycling Solutions is a national recycling program that allows you to recycle all brands of disposable razors and their packaging. We send you a nifty safety collections bin that's branded. You can see a picture of that smiling gentleman on the slide demonstrating the usage of our collection bin, again, to make it easy and fun and visible. But yeah, anything you're using at home, if it's a disposable razor, you can recycle, and you can do that for free through this program. The location appears on a map, so folks in your area can find you locally just by entering their zip code. And we also offer a similar program with a collection bin for health and nutrition packaging. So you can think of anything you could possibly pick up over the counter off your local pharmacy shelf is a material type that you could recycle through this RB Health and Nutrition Local Recycling Solutions program. All brands of waste are accepted. Like I said, we provide a collection bin. You end up on our program Smart Map, so folks in your area can find you to recycle their materials with you. And this is also another fundraising opportunity. So for every pound of waste you send us, you earn Terracycle points, and then those Terracycle points can be redeemed to the charity or school of your choice. So that second pillar of our Terracycle solution is how we solve for waste, which is super exciting and is really cool. I have a science background, so I love the research and development side of things, and really understanding the why and how of how we're able to effectively process and recycle these materials. So we have a team, an in-house team of industry-leading experts with decades of experience in polymer science and material solution, who are the geniuses behind the technical recycling solutions for all the different national recycling programs and waste categories that we have. So specifically cigarette butts, disposable razors, health and nutrition packaging. All of that starts in its recycling process with these 4 steps. So essentially what happens once you send off a package to Terracycle for recycling? So we receive it at one of our material recovery facilities. The package is scanned in and we track all of the information through your Terracycle account. So you're able to see not only how much waste you're sending in pounds, but how many units of the material you're sending us. So you can actually see, like, if you send in a 10-pound box of cigarettes, you'll know just how many cigarette butts added up to that weight. And so thinking too, in terms of like systems and recycling, we have to aggregate a decent amount of waste before we can send it off to our processing partners to be converted into another material to be used in the supply chain for, recycled park benches, picnic tables, shipping pallets, things like that. So we typically aggregate anywhere from a half to a full truckload of materials before we send them off to our partners, which the best way to describe that is if you can imagine a pallet, a stacked pallet, about 52 of those double stacked would be a full truckload. So I'm thinking of that in terms of cigarettes, given how small they are and how on average a cigarette butt weighs about 0.011 pounds, it takes quite a lot to generate enough material to then send it off for processing. So once the material is processed, we're then able to convert it into other materials. So specifically with cigarette butts, the plastic filter, which is made of cellulose acetate, is separated from any organic material. So you can think of the paper, the ash, leftover tobacco, all of that is organics. Those are separated and used for industrial compost applications, so for fertilizer. And then again, the filter, which is made of cellulose acetate, that plastic, is sanitized and pulverized and then combined with other recycled plastic polymers. And that's used to bind other materials in the manufacturing of recycled plastic lumber. So like Trex, those long, heavy sheets of plastic lumber, we use those to build recycled picnic tables, park benches, Adirondack chairs, things like that. We've had community partners who have, had cigarette butt benches made as educational tools in helping their program grow. So it's super cool to see the new life we can give these materials and the new products we're able to convert them into. And then lastly, our job here at Terracycle is to drive value to recycling programs, with education, outreach, tools, resources. We want to make this process as fun and simple for folks as possible. We want it to be engaging, because there's a lot of joy once you figure out how to recycle and you're doing it the right way and knowing that you're reducing your impact, and also like raising money for charity. It's a really beautiful process. So we provide you with a lot of different support. Like I said, a big part of my job is helping large locations in the growth of their programs, helping educate their teams, their students, their employees on proper waste disposal. So we often will do customized press releases to highlight our partners. We'll provide social media support and promotion. We're always creating new communication and collection tools for folks, again, to make this as easy and fun as possible. Always providing as much collector support as we can, offering collection and recycling units where possible, and then offering that tracking and reporting. That way you can actually see your impact as you participate and continue to collect with us. And these are just some examples of our engagement tools. So like I said, we offer a variety of different resources for our different recycling programs. Some of these you can see examples of on the left. So, basic instructions to different flyers you can give to your local government leaders and local businesses to get them to perhaps implement this program on their own, and again, share the knowledge and community around building, a really cool Terracycle recycling program. And then, once partnerships start and grow, like I said, we love to highlight those. So our PR and communications team will write stories, and those will be picked up by media outlets, again, just to share the world all the great work folks are doing to recycle these wacky waste streams. And then lastly, before I open it up to any additional questions, I wanted to share with you a few case studies of some of our awesome partners, specifically around the cigarette recycling program. It's a program I focus on mostly day to day. It's super unique. Like I said, it's a great litter prevention and pollution reduction tool. So Keep New Hanover Beautiful, which is a Keep America Beautiful affiliate based in the Wilmington, North Carolina area. They've been recycling cigarettes with us for some time. It's a coastal community, so they have cigarette butt receptacles placed at beach access points in downtown areas close to the airport, and they actually leverage student volunteers to help them grow this program. So students from UNCW, I believe students from the Surfrider Foundation will actually help this nonprofit organization to recycle cigarette butts that smokers will deposit into the receptacles along the beaches and in the greater downtown community. And just last year, they hit their 1 millionth butt recycled milestone, which is huge. That's about 1,000 pounds of cigarettes, which is quite a lot. And so they're only continuing to grow. And they leverage Keep America Beautiful grants to help them grow their program. Again, building out that infrastructure and messaging, which is super important to the development of any recycling program. Another cool program I wanted to highlight for you is the Maryland Coastal Bay's cigarette recycling program, as they are a great example of a group who has utilized our recycled butt benches. So you can see there's some photos here on the slide of cigarette butt benches they installed along their boardwalk last summer as an educational tool, as part of your Put Your Butts on These Butts campaign to reduce litter along the beach, and again, encourage folks to dispose of their waste properly. So it's super cool to see those out and about, and again, creating that messaging, and also seeing the full circularity of, what was a cigarette butt is now this beautiful community bench that folks can enjoy, sit out in these under the beautiful palms, under the blue sky, by the seashore, all those great things. And to think it was once a cigarette butt is pretty wild. And then last but not least, I had to highlight Bellevue College because y'all are an exceptional partner, especially with cigarette recycling. And I'm thrilled to be here to share more information on this Terracycle program with you. But to date, you have recycled almost 800,000 cigarettes with us, and that's about 800 pounds, which is pretty wild. So you're getting very close to your 1 millionth butt recycled, and I'd be more than happy to facilitate getting the story out there for you once you hit that goal, because I think it'd be really incredible to celebrate. But something else I wanted to note was that at the end of 2020 and the beginning of this year, which I also mentioned earlier, there's a couple new programs you have taken on to recycle spent writing instruments and disposable razors. So there's endless opportunities to get involved with Terracycle, both on and off campus, whether you're at home, remotely, or going back to school. Really, there's lots of options for you. It's super fun. I love what I do, and I love talking about it. So with that, I will open it up to any questions. Please feel free to reach out to me via phone or email. Always happy to chat. And thank you so much for your time.
Great, thank you so much. That was a super insightful presentation. Lots of awesome recycling opportunities. Right now we'll open it up to Q&A. So if anybody would like to unmute and ask a question, now is a good time, but I do see that there's a couple in the chat as well. Would anybody like to ask a question?
Yes, please. I want to understand about the map, the first picture, about the difference about the markets, countries, and the loop countries, the blue and green one. I'd like to understand more, please.
Sure.
Thank you for the opportunity, and congratulations for the great work.
Thank you. I'm happy to answer your questions. So let me just go back here really quick to that map. Okay. So this is Terracycle's global footprint. The dark blue on the map is where Terracycle and Loop overlap. So Terracycle you can think of as our recycling arm, and Loop is our reuse arm. So if you go to loopstore.com, you can see all the different options we have where you're able to order some of your favorite brands, favorite household essentials in reusable, refillable, returnable packaging. It all comes shipped to you in a reusable tote. Once you finish off all the products you've used, you simply put those containers back in the box, have UPS come pick it up, and then all those containers will be sanitized in our facilities with industrial cleaning. I'm happy to share more information offline on that. Yeah, and then it's a full circular reuse system. So yes, that's where those markets overlap. And then the light green is solely where our recycling programs operate through Terracycle. So our national recycling programs, like the cigarette recycling program in the US, we have a lot of different types of those based upon the brands we work with in our different global markets. And then our global foundation, which is our nonprofit arm of Terracycle, the Terracycle Thai Foundation is an example. They have some river traps in Bangkok. So you can think of like the Great Ocean Cleanup, that mechanism, a much smaller version of that placed at the mouth of that river system in order to collect and trap waste and remove it from the waterways. So that's the objective of our global foundation, and those regions you can see in the dark green on this map.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem.
I have a question about the batteries recycle. Before you said battery have a special recycle. I think currently we have a bike, maybe car. We always use a battery for the power to the power, and I think about battery pollution maybe than the oil. I think this is a big problem that in the future. How do the batteries recycle?
So that's an interesting question. I'm certainly not an expert on battery recycling, but again, I'd be happy to connect you with a colleague from our regulated waste team, as they're the experts in managing like fluorescent light tubes, batteries, anything that has regulations associated with its proper disposal. But what I will say is that we do have mechanisms to technically recycle everything. It's just a matter of who's paying for it. So certain processes can certainly be far more costly than others, require a lot more attention to detail. Like, think of like a battery, there's a lot of different components that go into that when you process that material. So yes, you can certainly say it does have an impact, and properly disposing of those materials is certainly very important, again, because they are regulated, and their contents, the remediation involved when those contents end up in the environment can be huge. So yeah, any additional questions you have on that, I'd be more than happy to answer offline.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else like to ask a question? I do see there's a couple in the chat, which I will read out for you, but. Okay, we'll start with one in the chat. So one says, Celeste says, when a program is full and you're put on a wait list, how long does it typically take to get into the program, and why does this happen? I'm sure it's for logistics, but she's still curious.
It is, and it varies. So, certain programs you can think of, like snack bags, for example. That's a very popular, common waste stream that most folks are encountering in their day-to-day life and would love to have a solution to dispose of them. So that national recycling program that's funded by one of our brand partners, fills up really quickly because so many people have snack bags to recycle, and then people stay in the program forever and ever because they keep buying them. And so space oftentimes takes a long time for that to open up. And really what it comes down to is budget. Because like I said, if you think about that Venn diagram I put up on the screen, what makes something recyclable practically is all economics. So, a snack bag, which is multi-laminate, it has like that inner foil lining and that outer plastic coating. It takes more money to process that material than the end value of it when we sell it back to manufacturers. So we rely on our brand partners to invest more dollars into their recycling programs to enable us to grant more accessibility to folks through that platform. But while we don't have space always in our national recycling programs, while we continue to develop these brand partnerships and really grow out this infrastructure in recycling, we have zero waste boxes. So if you have a budget, you can always purchase a zero waste box. We offer those for practically everything. And they come in small, medium, and large sizes. So that's also another great way to dispose of those materials. But yes, really what it comes down to is logistics.
Thank you. Another question from the chat. June asks, what do you typically make with recycled snack bags? And given our current housing and homeless situation, they were wondering if Terracycle makes plastic bricks to build houses.
So snack bags and most of the plastic materials we receive, they're all melted down, passed through a machine called an extruder and pelletized. And then those pellets are what we sell to manufacturers to make things like shampoo bottles. Those can be really turned into anything. They're just a combination plastic polymer. And can you remind me the second part of that question?
Oh, the second part was whether or not Terracycle makes any plastic bricks for building houses.
Thank you. So not yet, but that is certainly something I have done a little bit of research on. Folks on the team I work on have looked into this. And to my earlier point on that, one of the first couple of slides, we're always looking for ways to innovate with waste. So that's certainly been something that's on my radar, and hopefully something that we can see come to fruition as we continue to, create awesome solutions and cool activations around waste elimination.
Awesome. I would love to see that.
Me too.
That's great. The next question came from Claudia, I believe. In your opinion, what are the one or two important takeaways for the students, staff, and community members here?
That's a great question. I guess the first thing I would say in terms of most important takeaway is start small, dream big, and scale conscientiously. When it comes to our climate crisis, with recycling, with sustainability, if you try to bite off a lot all at once, it can be very overwhelming. So start somewhere small. Do a waste audit at home. Think about something in particular you'd like to get rid of as part of your waste routine, something you'd like to do a little bit differently, and then see what solutions are out there. Please reach out to me if you have any questions about Terracycle. I'm more than happy to point you in the right direction. But yeah, pick a couple programs that are of interest to you. Like I said, that health and nutrition and recycling program, we have an option for folks at home if you don't want to set up a public drop-off location, which will enable you to recycle, your vitamin and supplement bottles, any cough, cold, and flu medication you're buying over the counter, like stuff that most of us are using fairly frequently. All you do is pack that up in a box once you collect, and you mail it off, and it's really great. And then once you start, it becomes a lot easier to take on, more recycling programs. I am, at an interesting point in my waste elimination journey as a person, because it really just started with me looking at a piece of packaging one day and being like, why does this exist and how can I get rid of it? And now I have a small materials recovery facility operating out of my home. So I collect batteries, I collect light bulbs, I collect spent writing instruments, I collect any bathroom waste. So like those health and nutrition packaging, disposable razors. I pick up cigarette butts around my neighborhood. So yeah, there's really endless ways to get involved, but I think, yeah, starting small is a great first step. And ask questions, reach out to people at Terracycle, reach out to your friends, your colleagues, community leaders, decision makers, people who can implement programs. Because again, when we make these programs more accessible and we make recycling and proper waste disposal part of our norm as consumers, we work towards achieving a more sustainable future, which is critical to all of our success. So yeah, those are my two tips.
That's great. Great tips. Would anybody else like to ask a question to Caroline? There's a couple more in the chat, but I'd like to leave space for, turning on video and asking it. Paula, do you have your hand up?
I'm not sure if I can do again.
Go for it.
Yeah, I think it's not an important question, but just I feel bad because I am type 1 diabetic and I produce a lot of waste with all the products. And I'm concerned about this. I asked with my diabetes educator, and she doesn't know any program that I can recycle all the plastic that we use every week. So do you work with these? Do you know anything that can help? Or?
Great question. So personally, I don't know of a solution that exists right now for those materials. We might have a zero waste box that you'd be able to dispose of some of those materials with. I'd have to double check on that. But another, again, speaking of tips, something that you can do if there's a waste stream that you encounter that you don't know what to do with, you'd love to find a solution for, reach out to the companies that you're getting these materials from and, directly and say, hey, I'm a consumer, I use these materials all the time. It'd be amazing if you could develop a solution that way all of this waste was not ending up in our environment. And that's where we come in. That's where, like I said, our brand partnerships is Terracycle team members working with these brands to develop and design customized recycling solutions for the waste that they produce. So when you, at an institutional level, especially at a university level, you have power there. So definitely use it to your advantage, in communicating to these brands about what you want to see happen and how you want to see them change to, again, achieve a more sustainable future.
I called them already and they don't know. So I feel so bad, especially because I went in one country and I went in the ocean and the ocean was covered by plastic and I felt so bad. And I feel bad that I produce every week a lot of plastic, and I don't know how to put it. I put some in one box, but I don't know exactly how to do it. But I'm gonna do it. I sent an email for them maybe.
Yes, it's tricky. Well, a good tip, if like flexible plastic packaging, if you encounter any of that, those can definitely be separated. Oftentimes there will be local options for you at your local grocer or market to enable you to recycle anything that's thin and stretchy and usually clear. But again, zero waste box is always an option. And hey, if there's any Terracycle team members on this call, maybe this is a good catalyst to investigate on this waste stream.
Okay, there's a couple more questions. Again, if you've got a question, just feel free to unmute and ask at any time, but I will go to the chat again. The next question is, what are the requirements for Terracycle to be present in a country or to intervene in a country?
So typically we partner with a locally based waste management company for us to gain a foothold in a new market globally. And we also rely on, like I said, those brand partnerships. So for us to go into a new space where we don't already have a foothold, we would need the partnership and investment of some large brands to help us kick off and start national recycling programs in that space.
Thank you. And then Andrew asks, are there any new products that are in the works that you're excited about and want to share?
Oh gosh. There's so many things happening at Terracycle day over day. There's so many new programs launching. I mean, tomorrow's Earth Day. This is Earth Week. We've unleashed a bunch of new programs like within the National Recycling Program space, which is the space I work in primarily. So that to me is super exciting because again, you know, I love seeing the community development that occurs with these recycling programs. I love seeing greater access to proper waste elimination, you know, through these programs and through education. So seeing the growth of infrastructure and how many different options we're able to provide folks in terms of the waste they're able to recycle with us is definitely exciting. You know, projects that I get to work on, seeing the development of this public collection network, again, providing community infrastructure around recycling and making it fun for people. And like for me, getting to engage in events with groups like this, getting to chat with people and, you know, have an open discussion, an open forum. Those are things I look forward to continuing to do, hopefully at a bigger scale. So yes, there's lots of exciting stuff. Definitely follow us on Instagram if you haven't done so already. We're at Terracycle. You can connect with us on Facebook, on LinkedIn. That's definitely the best way to stay up to date on what's happening because I promise you every day there's something new and every day there's probably some days there's 10 things that are new. So, and it's all really exciting.
Yeah, I'd like to say on a personal note, I just saw that Terracycle is going to start taking Taco Bell hot sauce packets.
Yep.
And I thought that was really great because, you know, our fast food consumption's gone up a lot during the pandemic and they take out containers and things like that. So to have Terracycle and Taco Bell, you know, kind of collaborating to get rid of those little packets that are traditionally garbage. That's great.
Right? So innovative solutions happening every day.
Exactly, exactly. Okay, do we have anything else? If there's any other questions, does anybody have that would like to speak? Now's a good time.
Hi, Carolyn. I was curious to know, how did the Taco Bell collaboration come about? And like, are there prospects for like McDonald's and like Burger King and other fast food places to join in on that program?
So I don't know the specifics, but essentially we have an amazing business development team. So brands will reach out to us about creating solutions because Terracycle gets a lot of media attention. So brands will come to us oftentimes saying, hey, we saw you could do this. We want to find a solution for XYZ product. But also our team is incredible at what they do, incredible at communicating the value of implementing a Terracycle recycling program on a company and corporate level. So really it is them who are responsible for like designing these programs and bringing them to life and making them what they are. And then was there a second part of that question? I'm sorry, I got trailed off thinking about Taco Bell.
The second part of that question was, is there something in the pipeline for like McDonald's and Burger King and other fast food places that get on board with that?
Thank you. So yes, actually, through Loop, I believe we've just started a partnership for reusable packaging with Burger King. And so yes, definitely fast food brands are certainly there's opportunity. There's endless opportunity to partner with Terracycle, let's put it that way. So if a brand, as part of their sustainability goals going forward, wants to set up a program with us, we are happy to curate that in whatever makes the most sense to, again, achieve the most waste elimination as possible, to make it easy for people to engage with, to make it fun. So yes, absolutely. Hopefully to see more of those companies come on board.
Thank you so much.
Okay, somebody says, I always pick up cigarette butts off beaches. Is there someone I can contact to install a cigarette butt disposal bin?
You can. So if you're looking to, like, in a coastal community, like in a beach access area, I would say the best person to contact would probably be somebody from the local government. So somebody either in public works, in the Parks and Rec department. Those are the folks who are usually responsible for implementing and managing a recycling program like this. But also too, like I said, for the cigarette recycling program in particular, we have a lot of different resources and educational materials that we can give you that you can then use when you talk to folks in your community. So that could be business leaders or government leaders. Again, the value of why it's important to implement a recycling program like this. So yes, definitely those folks that work in your local government, but also any business leaders. You know, they have a vested interest in reducing the litter in front of their, you know, their storefront, in front of their business, because that dramatically reduces foot traffic, which over time obviously reduces like revenue possibilities and can hurt small businesses and can hurt a municipality. So definitely those are some of the best points of contact to start with, for sure.
Okay, next question is, are Terracycles activities funded or essentially based on fundraising?
So all of Terracycle's activities are funded. We are a company, we are a for-profit business. So, you know, we sell products that enable folks to recycle. So zero waste boxes are products that we sell. We sell services. So those services we sell to our brands are what enable us to develop these national recycling programs that are free to consumers. But yes, we are a business. So we are actively funded.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any other questions? Still have a few more minutes available if there's any other burning ideas or thoughts.
Yeah, I have a question. Yeah, sometimes I saw my neighborhood wash their car in front of their house. I think maybe the wash car's water include chemicals. So I don't know if this action is bad for the environment.
So again, I'm not an expert on water contamination, but I can say that, yeah, usually if there's any sort of chemical leaching into a water system, that's generally not good. Obviously in different areas, there are certain levels of acceptable contaminants in our waterways, but generally speaking, there is a global issue of water, you know, in our world right now, and access to clean water is huge. So while I personally, I mean, cigarette butt recycling is honestly a great way that is relatively easy to reduce the impact of toxins in our waterways. So by removing those materials from the environment, there is definitely a positive net impact to reducing the impact of, you know, again, materials going to waterways. But yeah, in terms of a global scale, I hope to see us improve systems dramatically to, you know, again, provide education to people on proper disposal, again, provide solutions. That way, you know, we can avoid situations like that and, you know, have a cleaner, greener world for us all.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm just looking through the chat real quick, make sure we covered everything.
I have an opinion. I don't know it's right or no, but I think when we always say that, you know, someone live in the maybe roadside, like a homeless, we always have garbage around the live place. I think maybe government can put some like garbage can over there, and maybe they can put the garbage in the can.
yeah, communicating and educating on proper disposal, like signage, yeah, and having, like I said, that infrastructure in place. You know, those receptacles, again, to make it easy for people to properly dispose of stuff. And, you know, you create these stops and these transition points. So you essentially stop somebody in that active behavior of, I'm going to toss this, or I'm going to just throw this in the ground, to, oh, there's a receptacle right in front of me for this material, I should use that. And again, making it bright, light, and fun. We have a machine actually that we can put on recycling bins and trash cans that literally will be like, yeah, you recycled, like, hooray, awesome, good job. So again, just to create like that fun reinforced messaging around garbage, which people, you know, I think most of us aren't thinking about. You know, it's like, oh, we throw stuff away, but there really is no away. So yes, really educating on all of this stuff is super important, and that infrastructure is a huge piece of that.
Thank you.
Yeah, we have a couple of those fun style recycling and disposal bins on our campus that give you a little message if you put something in the wrong spot. And yeah, it's
That's
really
awesome.
fun. Yeah, yeah. I mean, not that we've been to campus
Yay,
in so long,
recycling.
but yeah. Awesome. Okay, does anybody else have any other questions? Otherwise, I think we can wrap up shortly. Let's leave another minute of space.
Well, I just want to say again, thank you all so much for tuning in. This was super fun for me. I hope y'all learned something. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I know Amber has the copy of the slides I presented, so please feel free to share that out with anybody on the call today. And yeah, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to let me know.
Thank you so much, Caroline, for your insightful presentation today. I know we've all learned something that we'll take with us as we work for a more inclusive and sustainable future for everyone. Just a reminder to all the attendees, thank you so much for joining us today, and to check out the rest of our Earth Week events. We've still got a lot going on for the whole week, and Friday is a good time to check out our home waste audit and learn how to inspect your own home waste. We've got an event for that. And we'll also post this event on our website later next week. Thank you all for coming, and I hope you had fun.